Hey everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Tactical and Practical Day. You guys know what we do here on Tactical and Practical Day. This is where we roll up our sleeves and we actually use the software. As a subset of Tactical and Practical Day, we're doing a series that I've been calling AI for the Average Guy, where we're covering all things AI. So in previous sessions, we covered ChatGPT, Copilot, Atlassian's Rovo, Zoom's AI Companion, and today we're going to be covering three very specific things. The first thing is we're going to be covering ChatGPT connectors. We're going to specifically connect Atlassian's Rovo, which is Jira's AI, to ChatGPT as a connector. We're going to use Rovo to summarize all of the issues in our project that we interact with in ChatGPT. And then we're going to look at Atlassian's automation features also using Rovo. So those are the three things. Number one, ChatGPT connectors. Number two, Atlassian Rovo. And then number three, looking at the automation. So I'm just going to share my screen here and we'll get right into it. And I'm going to click share. Share as background. Okay. All right. And I'm going to minimize this. And so what you're looking at here is my ChatGPT screen. And by now, you guys should be familiar with using tools like ChatGPT and using the prompt window, which is where we're at. I want to call your attention to this Atlassian Rovo. So what this is this is a connector app. I have an Atlassian Jira project, and I've connected my Atlassian Jira project through my ChatGPT. So why did I do that? Very simply, what I'm showing here on my screen. As I'm scrolling up, you can see I gave it a very, very generic prompt. And I said, there are 168 items. Can you please summarize them for me? What it did was it went into my Jira project, looked through all 168 items, and automatically queried them for me. And so it's telling me that it's a business team, it's managed, it breaks it down by a couple themes and patterns, AI tooling and enablement, some sub items underneath it, cloud and infrastructure work, some sub items underneath it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so this is a very, very powerful tool. Instead of having to go through all of your JIRAs and summarize them and create custom reports or having to talk to someone, in the old days, when you had a good PM, the PM was on top of all of this stuff. They knew you could just ask the PM, give me a summary of what's happening, and they would break this down for you, what I see on my screen. Nowadays, you can have the tool do it for you in an automated way by connecting your ChatGPT to Atlassian Rovo right here. And so this is just an example of some of the things you can do. Other things you can do, you can have it automatically assign JIRAs for you, create JIRAs, change the status. You can interact with this without knowing how to use JQuil, which is the JIRA query language, and without having to know how to go into the different screens inside of JIRA and use the different reports. You can interact with it right here, speak in human language, use English. You can even use the speech tool. It'll go directly into your Jira project once you connect it, and it'll do all kinds of stuff for you for updates, run reports, give you summaries like you can see right here. And so the way you're going to do that is how I'm going to show you this next. And so on the left-hand side, what you're going to do, they've made a shortcut in ChatGPT to apps. So you no longer have to go through the settings. It's not buried anymore. It's right here. So you're just going to click apps on the left-hand side, and that's going to load for you. And now as you scroll down, you can see all the different apps that you can connect to, or you can search, or you can do some of the predefined ones here like lifestyle and productivity. So you see all these different things that you can connect to. And right here is the one we're talking about, Atlassian's Rovo. Obviously, Rovo is Jira's AI tool. And it gives you this green check mark or this black checkbox because it's saying it's already connected because I already connected it. So if you just click on here, you can see what it's saying is not only can you manage Jira, but you can manage Confluence. So all of the Atlassian tools, if you have Confluence pages, wiki pages, FAQs, you can have it summarize all that stuff for you. And you can see it's giving you a little summary of what it can do here. Summarize items, go deeper, right? Start chat. We already have a chat. That's that Atlassian chat we have right here. I'm just going to go into settings. And you can see we reconnected this yesterday. And what's important is once you do the connection, you want to make sure you turn this on, reference memory and chats. What that allows you to do, if you have specific preferences as you continue to build on this, as the days and the weeks go on, it'll remember what those preferences are and automatically do things for you. So you can have a scheduler set up that says something like, I want you to pull a report of what team ABC XYZ is doing and give me a summary of what they completed versus what's outstanding, and have that ready for me every Monday at 9 a.m. It'll remember that. You schedule it in the event scheduler all through ChatGPT, and it'll pull that for you. But this is where you would connect it as well. The only thing you need to connect it is your Atlassian website, your domain name and your login, or because it knows how to read images, you can take a screenshot, or you can take what I did. I took a picture of it with my phone. I gave ChatGPT the picture. It recognized, because the picture had the domain name login, it recognized that, it read it in the picture, and it automatically connected me, and now I'm connected. So that's the first step. You want to make sure that you connect Jira's Atlassian Rovo, their AI tool, to your ChatGPT. And once again, you just do that in the settings right here. And once it's connected, you can interact with it. All right. So we'll just load that window again. And once it loads, you can have a specific chat like I have here, or you can have sub chats for different things. You might have a chat per each team that you want to pull team records. You might have a chat for a grouping of teams under the umbrella of a program. You can have different chats for different purposes. And then the only thing left to do is to just click this plus box after it's already been connected, and you say more. And that's how I got that little icon there in the bottom, this Atlassian Rovo icon. What it's doing is it's saying, now when you interact with the prompt, it's asking Atlassian Rovo. And in the example we showed here, it pulled the items in the project, and it's giving me a summary of those items. Now, because this is a test window, a test project, and I'll take you into that in a second, it has test data in it. But you can hook this up into production where you actually have people working on it. You can see status, you can see due dates, you can see all kinds of metadata on what you and your teams are working on. And you don't need to know how to use sophisticated, Jira and Atlassian software, and you don't need a PM that knows all the ins and outs of Jira, because now you can interact with it yourself. So what we'll do now is we'll actually go into the project. And I already have it pulled up for you here. You can see it pulled those 168 items from this AI and Cloud project. This is just an example project that I tend to load and delete information into here for test purposes for the project. But we're looking at this in a timeline or a Gantt view that's summarized by quarter, so you can see when all these things are due. See a bunch of stuff coming due in October, November, April, June, etc. So you can see everything nice here in this Gantt view. Now, once again, because this is just a testing environment, this isn't a fully Premier account with all the bells and whistles where you have a hierarchical structure. You can summarize these things like it's already done for you here. You could do this at an initiative level, a deliverable level, whatever your nomenclature is. But once again, if you don't know how to do that stuff, or you don't have it in place, if you use ChatGPT and the Atlassian Rovo connector, it will do it for you. And that's what I'm trying to stress here. If you just have a list of epics like I have here with due dates and people assigned to it, and you haven't structured your Jira, and you're in the process of structuring your Jira and creating that hierarchy, if you just want to see a clean, neat, simple report, it will do that for you, and you can talk to it. You don't need to use jQuery or Jira query language. Or while you're learning that stuff, you can do that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go into using Atlassian Rovo inside of Jira, not inside of ChatGPT, and also looking at some of the automation features that Jira offers for you. So inside of your project, and if you don't have access to this, you can either ask your administrator for access, you can ask your administrator and sit with them to do it, or you can do what I've done here and just create a personal account on my personal computer for testing purposes and load it with fictitious data so you could learn. So you're going to go into settings, and then in settings, you're going to go into system settings. And you can see right there, it says automation as well. And these are just the generic settings. And under the subheading of automation, you're going to click on global automation here on the left-hand side. And this is where you're going to see Rovo and rules and automation. So this is going to load for you. Okay. So you have a create with Rovo, create rule, and some templates. Let's click on templates. The reason why templates is good is because remember, don't try and reinvent the wheel here. Global automation in Jira has been around for a while. The only thing that's new here is Rovo, which got introduced about a year or two ago. And so if you're wondering, well, Mark, how are you up to date on this stuff? How do you know how to use this stuff? I don't know how to use this stuff. My team doesn't know how to use this stuff. I get the information directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So Atlassian has a conference in Vegas that they host every year. It's called their Teams Conference. And inside of their Teams Conference, they show you updates where they roll out things like Rovo and stuff like that. So if your company has the budget to send you and your team to Vegas to learn about these features, well, then you should definitely take them up on it. But the in-person tickets are very expensive. So I went there in person one time, but then after that, I tend to do a virtual ticket. The virtual ticket is much more affordable. What it'll do, they'll send you the agenda a day ahead of time. You will not be able to attend all the different sessions. They have breakout sessions for things like Loom, Rovo, all the different new features and functions inside of the Atlassian suite. But what you can do is you can cherry pick, okay, I'm going to attend this session or I'll attend this session. If you're going to do this virtually, I would recommend that you take a personal day. So when I've done this years in the past, I would just use one of my, my out of office days, my holidays, my vacation days, and I would be able to have full attention and focus on this stuff. But that's really the best way to stay abreast of all the new features and functions that are happening here. And then once you do that, you can join a group. For example, I'm in New York. There's a group that meets in New York every couple months, and I'll go there. It's usually at night after working hours. They make it convenient for working professionals, and they will discuss all the new features and functions. They bring industry leaders from all different industries, and they talk about how they're actually using it. So that's an additional way you can stay abreast of it. Or, hey, you could always just ask me, and I'd be happy to walk you through how to use this stuff, or even come and sit down next to you and show you on your computer or show you in your own Jira if this testing environment doesn't work for you. If you want to see how is this actually going to work inside of my own Jira environment, we can sit down at your computer and look at that together. But covering Rovo and automation. And so the templates, all right? So use Rovo agent to triage bugs. So you have two sides of the business when you're using Jira. You have your sort of running the business teams on the left, and you have your building the business teams on the right. Generally speaking, when you're dealing with bugs, defects, that's your running the business teams. You can have Rovo agent do things like every time a bug or a defect comes in to this particular pool or portal, triage just means have it go here, have it go there, have it go to this team, have it come to me, send this alert, all right? Another thing you could do with Rovo right here is if you're using Slack for chat, you can have Rovo automatically send a summary to that Slack after some event. So it integrates really well. You see here with Loom, that's their kind of video conferencing. So if you're using all of their suites integrated, obviously it works better. If you're doing video calls in Loom and it's automatically summarizing those calls, it's summarizing the action items, it can take all of that information automatically, post it into a Slack chat, post it onto a Confluence page, and there is no more administrative work. You can wipe your hands of it. It does all of it for you. Now, what I like to say is it does that for you as a first level draft. So let's say you're in a video conferencing meeting like we are right now in a Loom meeting. Loom, using the Rovo agent, is automatically capturing the summary of that meeting, the action items, the follow-up. It's posting that information into the designated group chat. I would recommend you have a designated group chat by project or by product. And then it can post to designated Confluence pages as well. You can then go into those Confluence pages and make any edits. Perhaps you want very specific things in your action items if you don't feel that it captured in detail, or if it captured them in too much detail. So these are some ways that you can use the Rovo AI agent to have automation done for you. And once again, you don't need to build these things out. You can use the templates. So let's continue to scroll down to look at some additional features that you can use here. All right, so things like manage completed tasks. So if you have an epic and that epic has 4 or 5 stories underneath it and all of the stories are completed, you can have it automatically go back up to that epic and complete that for you. It can organize tasks. One of the things we used in the past was we had teams that were struggling with story point analysis. So what we did was we said, every time a story is created and that story then moves from the backlog in sprint, if it's in sprint and someone is working on it, and the status gets changed to in progress, so if those 3 criteria needed to be met, it moves from the backlog to a sprint, the status moves to in progress and someone's working on it, and there's no story point value, automatically assign a story point of 3. And then we would tell the teams, we put a default story point value of 3. If you feel that it's bigger than that 3, you can assign a larger value. If you feel it's lower than that 3, you can assign a lower value. But at the very least, we're not missing story points. And you can do that for any metadata point. We've used things like themes and categories or epics. If, for example, you want all your stories to be part of a specific epic, if you're working on cloud, if you're working on AI, if you're working on automation, and the teams forget to assign the stories to the epics or those wider themes, it can automatically do that for you. And then you can have this run a report at the end of the week showing all of them if you want to edit it. Once again, these automation tools are done as a first draft for you to check afterwards. Schedule reoccurring tickets, remove or add labels. So you can see all the different things you can do here, which are in the templates that are already done for you. So you don't need to think about recreating this. All right, so I'm just scrolling through here to give you a feel and some of the flavors that this can do for you. Okay, so let's scroll to the top here and let's actually say create a rule. This is where you would do it. So you can say create a rule from scratch if you don't want to use one of these templates. And you can say it's kind of giving you a quick tour here. So triggers, once again, triggers are if something moves from the backlog, if it moves from the status from not started to in progress, that's an example of a trigger or a condition. So we'll just say next. So it says when a work item is created, that's fine. We'll say next. And the issue is unassigned, that's fine. We'll say next. Then what we'll do is we'll say add a comment. Click on that. Next, and get started. Okay, so that's an example of how you can create a rule very simply. You can say when an item is created and it's unassigned, automatically put a comment on there, default assignee adding to the project manager, and then automatically assign it to Mark. And then what I could do at the end of the day every day, or at the end of the week every week, is look at all the items that are unassigned, and then I can assign them to the right people. That's just one example of how you can use automation. What you can see here on the right-hand side is all of these different triggers you can use. So you can get really creative with this stuff. A field value has changed, a service limit is breached. So you can use Jira for service management as well. SLA, all right, sprint created, sprint started, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so let's go back here. Talk to your admin about adding Rovo and Admin Hub. Once again, if you don't see this stuff enabled inside of your settings in your global automation, talk to your admin and ask them to sit with you, to make you an admin, to enable it for you. Or if you just want to learn, create your own Jira like I've done here in a testing environment you can play around, or give me a call sometime. I'd love to sit down with you and actually get that set up. but you can see all of the different global automation you can do here. Okay, so just summarizing again, super quick. Let me stop this. So just summarizing, three very important things we covered today in Tactical and Practical Day for this sub-series I'm calling AI for the Average Guy. Using ChatGPT's connectors. ChatGPT's connectors allow you to connect your software application to ChatGPT so that you don't need to be an expert in that software and you can interact with ChatGPT and automatically have it give you summaries and action on your behalf. In this example, we connected ChatGPT to the Atlassian Rovo, which is Jira's AI tool, and we had it give us a summary of 168 epics inside of an AI cloud project, and it broke that summary down by theme. Now, because this is just a testing environment, we don't have nomenclature or a hierarchical structure of things like epics, deliverables, features. You can rename this nomenclature however you want, but it's a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 kind of a structure. If you don't have that level of sophistication on your team or even inside of your tools, ChatGPT can do it for you as we showed in the example. We showed how to actually connect it by using the apps and the settings. If you don't know what your login and your password is and you don't want to copy and paste all that stuff, you can just take a picture of it and then upload the picture. ChatGPT will read the image and automatically log you in. Once you're logged in, you click on the plus icon in your prompt, you select Atlassian Rovo, and now you can interact with it. One recommendation I make is creating different chats for different things. Right now, I just have a generic Atlassian Rovo chat, but you might have a chat for team A, for team B, for a grouping of those teams, for an overall portfolio view. You might have the scheduler involved as well, and the scheduler might say, give me a summary of everything team A has completed. Send that to me on Monday morning by 9 a.m., and you might review that before a team meeting or before you talk to someone. You can do that on the program level as well. So you don't need to know how to use all of the different windows and features and functions inside of Jira and their reports. You don't need to learn how to use JQuery, Jira query language. ChatGPT through Atlassian Rovo can do this for you. If you're not a fan of ChatGPT, that's okay. The next thing we covered was actually going into your Jira project in the global automation settings and using Rovo and using automation to create automation rules to do a lot of this stuff for you, to create reports, to fill in metadata information that's not available, to automatically assign Jiras or epics, to automatically close epics if all of the subtasks are completed beneath it. Now, once again, with all of these automation rules, everything is done, in my opinion, as a first level draft, meaning it does it as a first draft, and then you can go in and actually edit it until you get very familiar with these tools. And now you don't need a first draft. It's just running in an automated way. Some additional ways you can use Rovo inside of Atlassian. If you hook it up to Loom, Loom is their virtual conferencing like we're doing now. We're doing this through Zoom, but Loom is their virtual conferencing. You can have Rovo sit inside of Loom, sit inside of your meetings. It'll automatically capture the summary of those meetings, the action items, the follow-up. It'll post that into a designated group chat. It'll post that onto a designated Confluence. You can then go in there and edit it. So back in the old days when I was working with 13 different Scrum teams, everybody was coming at me. Everybody had questions, and I was creating a lot of these automated rules for them so that they could self-service. And there were times I wished I could clone myself. There was only so much of me going around. Rovo now becomes your clone. It becomes your digital assistant. So you can now direct the teams, hey guys, just interact with Rovo, ask Rovo, it'll give you a summary. You don't need to know how to use Jira. You don't need to know how to use GQual. If you're not a fan of Rovo, you can hook it up via ChatGPT and it'll do all of that summary for you. All right, guys, thank you so much for the time. I hope you find value in this. If there's additional tools that you want to see as part of the AI for the Average Guy series, please let me know. It would be my pleasure to show them to you. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and remember to hustle harder. Let's talk again soon. Bye-bye.